as a person that's moved countries and is the first in my family to go to university, and seeing how much my family kind of gave up so that I could have the opportunities I've had, I absolutely feel a pressure on myself to succeed.
I have spoken today to 90% of my conversations are with first-generation Americans. And I have not had a conversation with someone who's immigrated to this country yet. How did you decide to do it?
London's the obvious choice as an Aussie. I feel like everyone goes to London, and I was like, oh, that seems too straightforward.
It's like played out, yeah.
And so I thought, London could be a good backup. Let's do America. And so kind of hopped on a plane like a Friday night, got to this dodgy Airbnb and had the moment of, what have I done with my life?
You had some friends in the city, I presume.
No.
No one?
No.
Not a soul?
No. Didn't know anyone here. But I had basically hit a bunch of people up that I did not know on LinkedIn before I moved.
That's insane, Suze.
I know. I'm slightly insane. I think to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a little bit of insanity in you.
Yeah.
Then I found this Australian who was in New York, and I thought, that's it. I've cracked it. She's Australian. Here's my in. And so I hit her up being like, hi, I'm an Australian. You're an Australian. Like, help me out. Take a meeting. And she was like, well, let me know when you're in New York. And so I kind of had white lied saying I was here earlier than I was so that I could get on her calendar like Monday morning, 9 a.m. She was like, I think I have a guy you should meet. I took that as, oh, I have a job interview. He took that as I'm doing a coffee for, like, as a favor. I was basically like, so things I think you'd want to know about me. I was like, I'm a very diligent worker. Here's my background. Here's how I got here. Like, here's my achievements. And they looked at me a little scared.
Yeah.
And then I left and kind of didn't think anything of it. And 2 days later, I got a call from the Aussie girl who's the recruiter. And she's like, Emmett loves you. He wants to offer you a job. That was the beginning of really working with entrepreneurs to launch them to market and kind of figuring out the processes to do so.
I think what's fascinating for me whenever I sit down with you is in many ways you've chosen.
Yes.
Because you've had many options to do whatever you wanted through this journey.
Yeah.
You've chosen to keep working these same people.
When you first start working with someone, it's just like a relationship, right? You need to get to know them. You need to know their idiosyncrasies. You need to know what makes them really excited, but also how to annoy the hell out of them. We really have very different skill sets, very different personalities, but a lot of respect for one another. We've really grown up together. It's been growing from our 20s to our 30s together. It's seeing each other go through both professional growth and development, but also a lot of personal growth and life moments, good and bad, you know? And I think at a certain point, we realized that we were better together. Through being a team and a partnership, we were able to really achieve, I think, our goals. And so it was one of the things when we talked about walking away from Gin Lane, which was really scary.
It was widely successful.
Finally, as
going
well.
It
took us a while.
You made it through the misery.
I know, and then we wanted to add, like, it was one of those things where we're like, this is too easy, what's next?
Is that it? Was that it? Is it, this was too easy?
No, you know, I think it
is. Is it times are changing?
Look, I think in real talk, it was more times are changing and we wanted to remain in control of our destiny. You know, were we prepared to walk away, but also were we prepared to commit to like another decade together?
Yeah.
And ultimately we decided that we were, and you know, I'd say we really believe that, you know, if you do something that's really meaningful to you, then, you know, you could get through all the hardships, and pattern is certainly that for us.
How do you find balance? Is balance real? We got this whole list of things like Shane's gonna go to the doctor. Shane's gonna like pay this bill.
Dentist,
Shane's gonna dentist. Dude, dentists don't even get me started. But like, how are you managing that?
You can't be the entrepreneur and leader that you need to be for this company if you are going to be burnt out, and also if you're physically not healthy. And so since then, you know, I've made time every single week. I go to acupuncture, I keep up with my supplements. But for me, acupuncture was almost so good because it forced me to not be on my phone. It forced me to not be on my computer, which I do need to be forced to not be on.
Yeah, there needs to be some...
And it kind of forces you to turn off your brain.
Yeah.
And so I think, look, whatever works for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like if that's taking a really long shower, if that's having a glass of wine, if that's going for a run, like whatever your coping mechanism is, I think you just need to find something that works for you and that you can be consistent about to ensure that you're putting kind of your mental and physical health first, because that is needed to guide the company.
Part of the sacrifices for me are always qualified by like my riddled fear of failing with this thing. Like I can't figure out if I'm grinding through this because I don't want to fail, or like I'm grinding through this because I can't wait for us to succeed. And you asked me a really beautiful question earlier around like, can you imagine if we do this?
Yeah. I think you have to live in the moment, right? And I am really scared of failure. You know, I feel as a person that's moved countries and is the first in my family to go to university, and seeing how much my family kind of gave up so that I could have the opportunities I've had, I absolutely feel a pressure on myself to succeed. I also feel a pressure to succeed for our team. You know, I know that we have 50 plus employees who rely on us to pay their bills, right?
Yeah.
You have to just kind of keep on coming back to, do you really wholeheartedly believe in this vision? And I think the answer that we kind of always keep coming back to is yes. And I know for me, I so wholeheartedly believe in Pattern and what we're doing. I can't imagine myself without it, and hopefully I never have to, you know?
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I love that.